All right, Mopar people, welcome back to the channel. I'm JustMoparJoe. If you're watching this, you probably wonder, how do I keep my flat tappet cams from going flat? I think it's pretty simple, but I'll give you a few tips. I think what works for me. It may not work for you, but I hope it does. There's a lot of flat tappet cams going bad nowadays, so let's get to it. So rule number one, don't buy cheap cams. And especially I would not buy a comp flat tappet cam. People are still buying them and wondering why they're going flat. I think they're junk. I'm not going to run a comp flat tappet. I like my comp roller stuff. It's been really nice to me, but I like Isky. If you can buy an Isky flat tappet cam, buy their match lifter set. They'll give you Isky Rev Lube with the cam. You put the stuff on the lobes, not on the journals. Put it on the lobes, put it on the ends of the lifters, and you most likely won't have an issue. I buy extra in bulk for even cams that are not Isky brand when I'm using them. The engine behind me is a 360 I'm building for the Project Ram Charger Revival I'm working on. And I bought the Isky lifters to go with an NOS or new old stock milling cam. So I got that cam from Rodney Bird. It is at least 10 years old, but it's brand new in the box. It looks beautiful. Let me show it to you. Here is that cam. You can see it here, and I've got it pre-lubed. I actually have driven lube on it right now because I couldn't find my Isky at the time. The driven's good stuff also. But moving forward, when we're talking about lifters, let me show you this. Oh my goodness, I'm soaking the lifters. This is how my dad taught me to do this. So you can have your opinion on it. Some people say don't soak them, some do. What I actually did was call Johnson and I asked them, I believe they make Isky lifters, that's what Isky told me. I asked them, do I need to soak my lifters? They said there's no need to soak the lifters because they usually come pre-pumped or pumped up. I said, well, I got these from Isky. They said, well, those may not be pumped up. I said, I'm not going to pump them up. I don't ever do that. I don't lay them on the bar and take a push rod and shove in the ends of the lifters to get them to pump up. I always prime my engines, so that'll be another tip I can give you. Prime the engine, spin it over, be sure I have oil all the way up to the rocker arms whenever they go on. That's something I always do, and I was always taught to do, and I haven't had an issue. So the way I'm going to put this lifter in, let me just show you here. Here's my Isky Rev Lube, pop the top on it, set it in here. Before I started assembling this engine, I took one of these brand new lifters. I'm going to wipe this one off just to show you. I took the lifters and examined them. None of them are flat on the ends. You can take two lifters and put them butt to butt. You see how smooth they roll around? You can actually see daylight. They rock back and forth on each other. The old cheap Chinese lifters that I found do not do that. And even though these have soaked, you can still hear, they both still rattle. The guy at Johnson said, even though you're soaking them, you're not going to get any oil into that lifter really. And from looking at my oil level, it hasn't really dropped much. But if I'm superstitious, I soak my lifters. Before I build this engine, I take one of these lifters and I try it in every single lifter hole. And I make sure that it spins freely. Let me get it on down there and lubed. And these are the deep bosses because this is a roller block that could have had a flat tappet or not, but you can see how smooth and freely that rolls inside the lifter bore. I check every single lifter bore, even without a cam, and if they're not falling through smoothly and nicely, zero rust, then you need to fix that. A lot of machine shops will actually hone these for you whenever they have it there. So that's another step I take each time. Here's how we do our lifter install. I'll set my molly out of the way for a minute. I can basically pour just a shade in every one of these. It's just my oil. And lube the lifter bores. Okay. Take my finger. Lube them all the way around. My goal here now, and I won't show you every one of these, but I'll show you one. It's easy. I'm wiping the end of the lifter off. Nice and dry. Here's my Isky Rev Lube. Take a dip. See how nice and black that is? I have on gloves because this is the stuff that cancer's made of. So, there's a lifter. I'll find you an easy bore to see right here. I'm dropping it in, not wiping my lube off. Spin it as it goes down. Once again, I'm checking it because I checked them already. See how far that lifter's got to go in there? There we go. And it's in. So, I can spin it right here with my fingertip. Spins very nice and freely, okay? Whenever I'm done putting all these lifters in, I'm gonna take my acid brush and I'm gonna take more of this Isky Rev Lube and I'm gonna apply it to every lobe one more time. All my lifters in, I've used my little brush and I have liberally applied to every lobe. So now I'm gonna take my socket and ratchet here, and I'm gonna roll her just a little bit. Come on around. See how it's wiping the lube off there. Like, oh no. There we go. Been about, I don't know, 180 degrees or so. I'm going to apply it to this side now, real briefly here. I'm not just gobbing it on, but I do want really nice coverage. This is good stuff. I'm gonna give it every chance I can to live. That's what it's all about. And I also believe a lot of cam manufacturers now are hoping that you can get that cam in the car and broken in, and then you don't drive the car, because in your mind you may think, well, that cam lasted 3 years. Well, in those 3 years you drove the car 200 miles, which is kind of realistic for some guys nowadays, including myself, on some stuff. If it's a race car, obviously you don't drive it 300 miles. There we go. But you think, wow, that cam lasted 3 years. But this engine right here is going to be driven. It is going in a Ram Charger that actually drives around, used for transportation. There we are. So we're coated on all sides of our cam now. For our push rods, this is just a Mopar 360 push rod. You can use whatever push rod your engine needs. Give yourself a line. Let's try it. Just like that. There we go. There we are. So I just put a red line on that, and I'm going to mark them all over here. And when we drop them in our engine, we're going to put the red line up. You can use whatever color you like. See how the red kind of shows up nicely against that raw metal color there? And what that's going to do, after we put our rockers on and this thing starts to run, whenever the lifter spins and there's pressure on our push rod, we should be able to see the push rod spinning as it sets and runs. So that's an easy test you can do as it's running in the vehicle or wherever. I'm going to start mine on my run stand. We're doing our cam brake in. I can pop the valve cover off and look, be sure they're spinning and everything's happy as it's braking in. Set the valve cover back on, keep going. So try the old line method there of on the push rods as well, because if it's going to fail, and it does fail, you'd rather catch it early versus having to pull the entire engine apart and start over. Crucial step, get your brake-in oil. I like Lucas stuff. This is 30 weight. I know that may scare some people, but I know my bearing clearances and it's totally fine. So you're protecting your investment. It tells you all the good stuff. Requires no additional additives, compatible with methanol and high octane race fuel. We don't have to worry about that here. High zinc and phosphorus ZDDP package. Protection for all flat Tappet cams. So if it's got a chance of living, that's going to do it. Lucas is good stuff. So don't forget your brake-in oil, some kind. Some people like Driven, some people like Joe Gibbs, some people like some kind of VR1. I mean, there's a million out there. I've used the comp brake-in stuff and had good luck with it, but if I can ever buy Lucas, I usually go for it. It is clockwise for a small block. See, it's starting to rush. I'm not trying to flood the floor out again. There we are. I did that to both sides, but remember I turned that engine over. I have not put my intake on yet. And look how much cam lube is left on these lobes. So I believe what I'm going to do now, while I can still see my cam and see my balancer, I'm going to get it up top dead center, drop my distributor gear in, and then it'll be ready to be timed from that. So I won't have to spin it over later or do any of that business. I'll already have it on top dead center. And I will take my acid brush, just like that. I could even steal some of this lube off here, you see, and re-wipe my lobes with some more Ishki Rev lube, just as a precaution, because if this had been spun over 20 times, all that lube would be totally gone. But right now, I mean, that lobe is literally dry, and this has been primed. So just something to think about. And I know once it gets running, a lot of this oil, you can see here that a lot of it's going through that little relief hole there, and it's going to be flowing into here at some point, because it just fills up that valley while it sets and idles. But we got to have our lube on if we want it to work. This thing ran for over 20 minutes, idled all the way down. Been a successful cam break-in so far, and I had to wipe off and remark my red lines for video. But the idea is to watch them spin as the engine runs. So I got to grab my rag again. I got it right here. It's probably going to get messy real quick, but we just want to see. Also, it runs better when you put the plug wires back on. So let's watch and see if they rotate. I can see that one moving. See that one moving. See the line? That one's really getting after it right there. That one's really getting after it right there. See him go. Come on around, baby. There it is. That one's got a lot of roll in it, and that one's moving slow at the junction. So let's shut it off before it soaks it all down to nasty land here. But that's it. That's the goal of the video. Hopefully that helps somebody out there. I can yank the other side and check them, but they're spinning at the end of the cycle, and that's good. That means they are not flat. So it's up to you how you break in from here. I would put some load on the engine now and drive it instead of just setting and idling. Idling's bad, they say. So I appreciate y'all watching, and I'll catch you next time. How's that treat you? Like a sewing machine? Oil pressure looks about like 50 pounds, and when you rev on it, we go up to 70, 65.